the big stories last few days, last few weeks has been what the hell is going on with Chase Young. I have Ron here to talk about it, but basically he's been practicing without pads, been doing everything he can, but he hasn't been quite cleared yet from the doctors. Here's Ron talking about Chase.
No idea what the doctor's going to do, but I do know right now that he's told me to continue to progress and get himself ready to go. So until then, there's nothing that we can tell you, nothing we can say, and we'll have the medical report come out on Wednesday.
To me, just reading between the lines, obviously Ron is perturbed. I just feel like maybe he's perturbed with the doctors. It doesn't seem like he's perturbed with Chase. Because Chase is he said he's doing everything he needs to do. But until they get the okay from the doctor for full go, you're hamstrung.
He may be more just frustrated with the situation that he's not fully available, and that's a guy that he has to lean on to get him to 10-plus wins.
So I put this up on our Twitter at Junks Radio and our Facebook page, facebook.com/thejunks. And I just put Chase Young with a blank line. Like you could fill it in. I'll tell you what, the fans are over Chase Young. If you want to chime in, 800-636-1067. Over 250 comments on the Facebook page. Here are a couple examples. Pierre, I'm losing hope for this dude. Charles, where are the pom-poms? Very few defending him. Now here's one that says, don't be harsh on Chase. He was unfortunate that he got the worst stinger in the world. We haven't seen anything like this before. Now maybe there's some sarcasm in there, but he is a lightning rod player. Here's another one. Andy, he's brittle. A stinger for 3 weeks?
It just seems weird. That's what people don't understand. There had been speculation that maybe it was a concussion, something. Ron just handles a lot of these things awkwardly, and this is, I think, another example.
But could this be Chase's side? Like, he's almost like a silent protest type of thing. Like he's milking an injury. Could he be sucking it up, being back on the field, working harder?
There could be part of that, but this is a huge prove-it year for him. If he wants one of those big $20+ million per year type of contracts for multiple years, he has to go out and prove that he's worth that by racking up double-digit sacks, being the type of player that the Commanders expected when they drafted him number 2
But he's
overall.
made a lot of money already. Okay? Maybe look, the organization chose not to give him an extension.
Right. Which
right?
I believe was a correct move.
And you could say it's a prove-it year, but he might be like, I'm just going to do the minimum on this team. He didn't show up to the OTAs. He didn't do anything. So he's going to get paid because he's going to show up, but he's not going to rush back. But that's not going to risk an injury.
But then he's not going to be able to make that big deal.
Right.
Yeah, but he might not see that down the road.
He's not stupid.
He knows the long game here.
I don't know what's going on. There's always something Chase related. It's crazy. It's been like that for 3 years.
Yeah.
I have no idea what's going on over there, but I can't imagine he's just going to put in the bare minimum and just wants to get out of here.
No,
he wants to get paid. I'm sure he wants to get out there and perform and produce and get a contract, but for whatever reason, he's just not eligible.
And also, even though he was a very high pick, he was number 2 overall, guys that get picked in that range, top 5, they bust all the time. It happens all the freaking time. And maybe he just ultimately winds up being way overvalued, way overdrafted. We've seen it a million times with quarterbacks. You can go through some of the names, these are older names, but Tim Couch, Achilles Smith, Jamarcus Russell. Those guys are all picked in the top 3. And they flame out. Sometimes high picks flame out, and it sucks for the player and for the organization and the fans. But sometimes your top picks just do not work out the way you want them to.
Right now, when you look at rankings, the guy's in there in 50, 60, in that range.
Right.
At his position.
Yeah.
He's nowhere near where we think he should be. But I agree actually partly with JP that there could be, and this is just pure speculation, but I've heard some rumblings that Chase just is going to do what Chase wants to do.
Right.
And maybe Chase, wanted to play a few snaps, got nicked up a little bit, and he's saving himself until the opener.
We've heard many people tell us this over the years. Maybe he's great at football. Maybe he just doesn't love football. Maybe he loves the trappings and the fame and everything that comes with football. Now, his demeanor, like when he's healthy and he's playing, kind of belies that because he seems like
sometimes he
like a really
so
good teammate
engaged
and
on the sideline.
He loves his teammates and he's cheering for them even when he can't play. But maybe deep down, maybe he just knows has the potential to be great at football, but doesn't like have that burning desire to be.
So do you think he's playing week 1?
No, I don't think he's playing week 1.
Eric?
Yes.
Flamac?
I do not.
I think he's going to play.
But I don't know what's going on neurologically with him. I'll preface this all by saying, like, when Logan Paulson came on the show and described his stingers, it was kind of new information to me. I almost thought like a stinger was, when your elbow gets banged up and you get numb for a little bit, but he described it like going to the traps and all this stuff. And I don't know that none of us know the extent of the neurological damage which maybe happened on this hit for Chase Young. But my speculation, and if you want to chime in, 800-636-1067, you can call us in the MGM National Harbor listener lines. What do you think is going on with Chase Young? What are your thoughts on Chase Young now? I feel like I'm in that community that it feels like he's a little soft and that he's milking the injury, meaning some guys, they're knocking on the door and the coaches have to say, no. You're not getting back on the field.
Right.
He feels like the guy that you got to prod to get back on the field. Like the opposite of, like when RG3, for example, tore his ACL and he wanted to be back and he wanted to play in the preseason as fast as possible. They had to basically say, cool the jets. Chill out. Recover. He seems to be the opposite. Like last year, what did he come back for the last 3 games? And all season, we were like, is he going to be back by week 8?
Yeah.
Is he going to be back by week 10? And it just kept going and going and going, and he played whatever the last 3 or 4 games.
But I chalk that up to that injury was just more serious than we thought. That's the way. I chalk that up to the seriousness of the injury.
I think there's some of that, but from the team's perspective, you heard rumblings, Jason, that he was cleared and ready to go weeks before he was willing to get out.
And maybe he's one of these guys that, like, his camp just says to him, you're not going to go back on the field till you are 100%. If you're 96%, you're not going back out there. And maybe that's why
Could be.
It's just harder and it takes longer for him to get back on the field. Maybe he's preserving it for whatever the next stop is, because I don't see the team re-signing him after this season.
No, not unless he went nuts and
unless he comes back and
Let's go to Jeremy in Ashburn. Jeremy, what's up, buddy? You're on with the Junkies.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. Just a real quick point idea. The way they have their lineup this year, it seems like there's a potential. I see Obata and Sweat up front, and maybe pulling Chase back to outside linebacker. The same idea with, like, offensive. If you have a good dynamic player, you have to find a way to get him in, get the ball in his hands. Same sort of thing with defense. He's obviously gun shy. You need to put him in a position where he can get his speed back, his mojo back, and I think with Del Rio, they're smart enough to be able to make that move. Just my idea, guys. Thanks for taking the call.
I will keep an eye on that. It just seems like that linebacker position has been devalued so much across the league. It's kind of hard to imagine that.
Here are some of the tweets. Same thing. Chase Young, fill in the blank. Chase Young is soft. Chase Young makes Jadeveon Clowney look like an all-pro. Chase Young stinks. He's soft. Overdrafted bust.
I get it. People are frustrated.
Strasburg.
Right. People are frustrated.
Doesn't enjoy football.
Ron also commented on Sam Howell yesterday.
Honestly, I'm really pleased with his overall growth and development. I mean, his command of the offense really has come along very nicely. When you first watch guys get into the system, and I know how hard it is to learn and grow within it, but you see it. His decision-making is probably one of the really good things that he's done. He protects the ball for the most part. He understands how important it is to protect the ball. That's one thing. One thing that I know I talked about a lot last year, especially with you guys, was about his footwork, and I think his footwork has come a long way. I really do. I think he understands the importance of, proper footwork, proper timing in your footwork. If you got a 5-step drop and you can't get there too quick, because if you're there too quick, now you're waiting on the guy. If you're too late, you're going to deliver the ball behind him where we can't make a play. So he's understood how important that is to get that down, to get that timing down. he's got a terrific arm and he knows how to use it. That's the thing that's been really interesting is in terms of, he can zip it in there, he can put a little touch on it, he can put a little more arc on it, and hang it out there, or he can just put it on line. So when to use that is another thing that he's learning and growing and getting really good at. So there's been a lot of areas, Ben, to your question, that I really think he's grown a lot.
That's encouraging.
I like to hear it. I'm cautiously optimistic, Cakes.
My only thing about those comments is he's not going to trash his starting quarterback. You know what I mean?
But he might just say, he could say, you know what, we really like what we've seen with Sam so far, but still, trust us, guys. This is going to be a process. He's going to struggle at times. We like him, but let's not put too much pressure on him. Mm-hmm. He's going to struggle. He's going to have some good moments, but he's going to have some bad ones too. So just kind of hang in there and ride the roller coaster with us. He could say something like that. He didn't. He's kind of hyping him up. Anyway, see,
I was going to say ride the roller coaster with us.
Well, I think when you have young quarterbacks,
it's going to be a roller coaster.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what it is. It's kind of known.
And it's going to be a roller coaster in Indy. It's going to be a roller coaster in Houston. It's going to be a roller coaster in Carolina. It's going to be a roller coaster. I don't know. It's going to be
Indianapolis. Did you say Indy?
Yeah, Indy.
Yeah.
For Arizona, it's going to be a roller coaster. Probably just uphill the entire year.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a tough slog in Arizona.
It's going to be like that for a bunch of different teams.
All right, so they announced yesterday, I guess, $40 million in upgrades to FedEx Field. So if you're planning on going out there and being part of that, I mean, Jason Wright's really hyping it up like this is going to be a sellout, the first sort of real sellout, Washington-based sellout, not some game where it's just packed with the opposing fans.
The team was advertising standing room only tickets availability for the Cardinals game.
Supposedly like the first time like a real sellout in like 10 years.
Yeah.
And so kind of dovetailing with that, they've announced plans to invest $40 million into FedEx Field, into the game day experience. Part of that, involves new themed suites. I know there's like a military themed suite. There's an arcade themed suite.
Ooh, I like
arcades. There's a legend themed suite that has player lockers, benches, AstroTurf, artwork commemorating the franchise's history. There are new ticket scanning pedestals, point of sale upgrades, maintenance repairs to the bowls, new paint.
Cheaper beer before games.
Right. There's also, I think, new sound, some new video out there, and maybe most importantly, new food options, Cakes.
I'd be curious to know, by the way, do you think Dan Snyder spent $40 million in upgrading FedEx in the last 10 or 15 years?
I just don't know.
I'm going to guess he probably didn't.
Biggest thing he did was mostly rip out seats.
Right.
So here are the new food vendors.
Ooh,
they're welcoming 12 new food vendors at FedEx. You'll have 3 locations, it looks like, of Hill Country Barbecue.
Ooh.
Pardon My Cheesesteak will have 3 locations. DC Half Smokes will have 2 locations. Paisano's Pizza. We love Paisanos.
Oh,
sure.
Yeah.
I love
2
Paisano's
locations.
wings. That's
Washington
my Craig
Grill.
Nice.
Capital Kettle Corn.
Ooh.
A lot of
Fuku
options.
by David Chang. Visitor's Dog. Loaded Mac. Jerry's Seafood. We love Jerry's.
Oh, we didn't know they were going to be
Jerry's Seafood, Section 331.
Phil is our guy.
Yeah, crab bomb.
Make sure you get over to Jerry's. PMC Cheesesteak Nachos.
Hope Sam Howell throws a crab bomb to Jahan Dotson.
Yeah.
In Section
60
338, Swizzler, whatever that is, in Section 447. And DMV Crab Rolls.
Ooh,
brand new location.
Hey, there's
there's
a lot of seafood there.
There is.
Right?
That is true.
Wow.
I love
You
me
might
some
have to
seafood.
make your way out to FedEx, Valdez.
Looks like Swizzlers has crispy chicken and smash burgers.
Well,
you go.
That sounds delicious. Not
Like
to be
it.
confused with Sizzler and $4 steaks when we were growing up as kids.
Right.
The amount of crab.
All the crab.
All right, let's bang out a couple
By the
of
way,
these real
major
quick.
upset. A drab T-shirt wearing a hoodie with a crab on it, and Valdez isn't today. That's
I know, I think it's a new...
it's quite a glow up for you in there, Drabby.
New bit season sponsor, right?
It's a new Crab Sports coming on bit season. We'll tell you guys all about it over there.
Ooh.
It's a new day. It's hoodie season.
Oh,
it was definitely
well,
first of the month.
It's also beanie season. That's
It's
a little
not
too.
beanie season. Get a hold of yourself, Kate.
October 1st.
It's 81 degrees out today.
Yeah, but
He has 100 beanies. He needs to start
I
using
know.
them.
I need to start breaking them out. October 1. I'll slow my roll.
I think it was 53 degrees this morning.
Here, model that for the camera, Drab. Stand up. Model that. For the camera.
Yeah, show the people. Very
Crab
nice.
Sports, yep.
Very good.
All right, who's up?
All right, let's go to, let me see here. Let's go to Rick in D.C. Rick, what's up, buddy? You're on with the Junkies.
Rick.
Shoot, don't say my name too loud because I'm in witness protection. Look here.
All right.
This is the way I look at it.
Crazy.
Chase Young is a dud. And I say that because, in fact, he's almost getting to be like Steven Strasburg now. I hate to say that because I wanted the guy to make it, but every time you look at something wrong with him, because see, I'm sitting there thinking, why didn't they put him in PUP then? He could have been on the list and saved the roster spot for somebody.
Well, the problem with the PUP is
Then you miss
you're
4
out.
games.
You're out for the first month.
Yeah.
Well, that would have been good. That would have gave him a chance to get his stinger all done.
Well, maybe he'll be ready by week 2.
It already is the world's
long.
longest stinger. He needs another 4 weeks.
Look, if they think he's going to be ready for the Denver game, if he needs rest up till the Denver game, don't put him on the PUP.
Right.
Keep him off the PUP and then activate him for the Denver game if he doesn't play in week 1.
Do you know what's really hurting Chase? The fact that Herbert is a baller, and then Tua looked good in the limited time he was in last year. That doesn't help. And I think there's some sort of underlying resentment in fans. The fact that Chase really isn't working out and isn't healthy, and then these quarterbacks they could have had are shining.
Well, that's not helping.
No,
But
it's not helping. That's stirring the pot.
Adding insult to injury.
It's adding fuel to the fire why people are so upset with Chase.
But any number 2 overall pick that bombs is gonna get furor from the fans, right? They just are.
Definitely.
But it definitely doesn't help that you could have had these other
You're going to
guys,
get
too.
backlash from the fan base.
I'm looking at a general description of stingers, better known as brachial plexus injuries. They say stingers are injuries that cause intense electric-like pain, tingling, and weakness in the arm and hand. The pain usually lasts seconds to minutes, but sometimes can last hours or days. You're telling me that this is going to last a month?
Or there's something more serious that they're not letting on about, which is, I guess, a possibility. Maybe he has something worse than a stinger, but they're just not telling us.
And maybe that's
I don't know.
Ron's frustration, because here, again, it says most stingers go away on their own within a day or 2.
It's weird. No one gets it. Something's going on. Again, what I've heard is Chase does what Chase wants to do.
That's what it seems like.
So if Chase wants to play in week 1, he'll play.